The 76ers avoided tying the record for the worst start to a season in NBA history last night, ending their 17-game skid with an 85-77 victory over the Timberwolves. Allen Iverson, AI, tweeted the following last night: "Congrats, little homies. Keep fighting and stay strong. Hashtag Sixer for life." Speaking of someone who, not necessarily a Sixer for life, but you're Mr. Philly along with being Mr. New York. You were in the streets of Philadelphia on Monday. You did a man on the street. You talked to the people about what was going on. Tell us about what happened during that piece and obviously how you feel now about the Sixers.
Well, SportsCenter asked me to go out there and talk to the folks in the city of Philadelphia, and they wanted me to do it because obviously I was a writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer and a columnist for 16 years from 1994 to 2010. And obviously I covered the Sixers as a beat writer for the first 7 years of Allen Iverson's career there, and then after that, a couple of more years as an NBA columnist before I became a general sports columnist. So I'm very familiar with this organization, this team, and it is pretty bad out there. The fans are incredibly disgusted with this team and the direction of this franchise. Clearly, you don't blame the players. They're young. They're the youngest team in the NBA. They're a bunch of novices right now. But they play hard for Coach Brett Brown every night.
I agree.
And you know, whether it's Rick Carlisle raving about him, Greg Popovich, who's raving about his former assistant, or whatever the case may be, you know, you got a whole bunch of folks within the coaching fraternity that want to make it clear that this man, he hasn't forgotten how to coach. He knows how to coach, but he hasn't been given a lot to work with, and they are right on the money with that. They don't say that, but in supporting Brett Brown, that's basically the indirect message. The Philadelphia 76ers organization, it has been catastrophic in terms of the direction they've decided to take this franchise in. They don't want to be middle of the road. So as a result of that, they're willing to tank last season. And this year, you know, Joel Embiid is out. Nerlens Noel is learning. Michael Carter-Williams, he and I spoke just the other day. There's no beef going on. It really is. It's
you guys are back.
I mean, we would never lost. But the kid's got a lot of promise. I like him. He's a good kid with a nice head on his shoulders. Kid Tony Routon as well, KJ McDaniel. All I'm saying is they're a young team that plays hard. You got to get them some veterans. You got to give the coach and those players some help. And as an organization, a willingness to tank it this way is shameful. And that's what the people speak about. Don't even get me started with the Minnesota Timberwolves or Andrew Wiggins, for that matter, who just seems in cruise control most nights. I don't understand it. He can play, but he just doesn't seem no level of urgency, Skip. But the Sixers play with urgency. They're just too young and not talented enough, and that organization has to do a better job of getting some talent.
So how sad is it that we're, quote-unquote, celebrating the first Sixers victory against a team that is missing Ricky Rubio, Kevin Martin, Pekovic, and Turioff? Really? Yeah. Oh, well, you should have won that game. Heck, this team played the heck out of my Spurs twice because they do play hard for Brett Brown. They do. I mean, it's impressive to watch. They didn't even have Alexei Shved last night, and I like him every time I watch him. So, again, where do you go from here? I don't know. Can they win another game this year? I don't know.
The organization looks as if they're losing on purpose. That clearly was the case last year. Not the players, not the coach, but the organization, because they're like, wait a minute, if we're not going to compete for a championship, why not just tank it and get the best talent we could possibly get? But the city of Philadelphia is too prideful for that. They tolerated it last season. Cannot happen this year. And the GM is just going to have to start, you know, Hinkie, he's going to have to start putting in the work and get some talent. You got Embiid, Nerlens Noel, and Michael Carter-Williams. Now it's time to get some serviceable parts of